Hello, welcome. I hope you are well. So today we're going to be looking at some posts from r/BestofRedditorUpdates. So these posts tend to be nice and long, and there's lots of updates, which I love, and a nice conclusion, which is very satisfying. So if that sounds like something you'd be into, stick around and enjoy. So this post is titled, "The Barbie movie made me realise my mother never truly loved me and never will." That is an ominous title. On mobile, so excuse typos or formatting issues. Spoilers and NSFW just in case. I am in my 30s, and moved back home last year due to a million reasons. During this time back, I realised how my relationship is with my mother, and always has been. It's not great and we fight a lot. I know and have known I'm not the child she thought I'd be. I have mental disorders, I'm fat, and others. That doesn't make any difference to how she should have treated you at all. Last December, during an argument, she told me that my mental illness that I truly work hard to control, 10 plus years in consistent and intense therapy, triggers her childhood trauma because her mum has the same disorders. What? I've always been compared to her, but this just changed something in me, and it's been harder since. I doubt she even remembers saying it. Back to the title. I actually watched the Barbie movie with her yesterday, and watching the relationship between America Ferrera's character and the daughter was something I wish I had. I wish I had a mum that cared, that loved me, and that I was just a kid that didn't realise how much she does. I think part of me hoped my mum would see that, and realise maybe just love me because I had heard that was a reaction daughters had. When I cried realising this, she actually laughed at my emotions, but did not know that's why I was crying. That's really harsh. My mother only shows love when I can do something for her, and really, that's not often. I'm always reminded of what she gave up for me and how me in the past bringing up things that hurts me hurts her because I'm never positive. It's always been what I don't do. I've spent years trying to rationalise why I never feel enough. Her mother was awful to her, still is, and I always told myself that's why. I'm her only daughter. It just breaks me, really. I realised the relationship was only made worse by me moving home because I stopped begging my mum to love me. I stopped doing everything I can for her affection. I've been making plans and efforts in silence to move and go no contact. But I have things I have to do before I can. But after watching the movie, it's just confirmed why I need to do that. Yeah, it sounds like low contact or no contact would really be good for your mental health, because it is not good that you feel like this all the time and you clearly are just stepping on eggshells or being overly affectionate just for a crumb of attention, acknowledgement, and no one wants to feel like that. I cannot keep eating glass for her to feel good about herself as a mother. Anyway, TLDR, I wish my mum loved me, but the Barbie movie made me realise she'll never be able to. Okay, so for context now, I'm assuming that this is where OP was replying to just a lot of comments about the same thing. So, OOP on her mother's love language and affection towards her. OOP, I hope no one downvotes you, but yes, there are things good she's done. Unfortunately, basically none of them came with no strings. There's always a catch. With every single person beyond me. It's also gotten worse as I've aged because of my ability and courage to push back. Things that she felt before she could just dismiss and tell me I'm wrong was not something that I'd believe. She used to be able to yell at me to get me to react, and then it'll flip to I'm unreasonable. I don't yell anymore, and it messes with her. I will always remember the nice things she's done when I choose to think of her. But I won't forget what price was paid for those nice things, and what it cost me. Yeah, well, that's it. It's, at the end of the day, if you're having to sit there and tread on eggshells and alter your behaviour to get her to be nice, and then when you bring up issues, she basically does something to twist it back round on you, it just says everything about her, doesn't it, really? She's clearly a bit of a narcissist, one of those. And they don't make good parents, I'm afraid. They really don't. Unless they do a lot of work on themselves, they really don't. I can tell you that much for free. OP on her grandma's affection on the mum-daughter. So I'm assuming this is in reply to a comment asking about what her grandma was like. OP, oh my god, yes, my grandma is worse than my mum, and I get that. I've also watched my mum do the same thing I do, kind of, growing up, and I think that is what hurts me the most, is she knows how shite is, and she repeats patterns. I've begged her along with my entire family to seek therapy, because I truly believe if she did, while painful to deal with, not only the insane childhood she had, but the realisation she did it to her children, I think it would heal our entire family. She refuses. I can't tell you how many times she's gone to 1, maybe 2 sessions with people before an excuse is made. Last time was, I know more than her, she can't help me. Yeah, again, this is another thing that you find with narcissistic parents is they think they are above everyone. They think that they know best. And then when a big spotlight is shone on the ways that they are not doing what they should be and the things that they have been doing wrong, they turn it back on everyone else, or they say, I know more than you, or they completely just shut down and will not communicate whatsoever. It is impossible to deal with someone like that until they have actively sought the help themselves to get better, because they will just shut down, or they will refuse, or they will blow up, and you will never get anywhere with them. They have to work on themselves before you can ever work on a relationship with them, unfortunately. And if they're not willing to work on themselves, that's when you have to go, well, I will probably have to step back because this is never going to get better and this is not good for my mental health. Okay, so we're getting into update territory now. Around a year ago, I made a post about how I watched the Barbie movie with my mum and realised the lack of love she had for me. I saw it make its way to TikTok and decided to update. First, I want to thank everyone who commented. I really only got a few negative comments, which to me was surprising. Yeah, this is the internet after all. You could be the most innocent, most lovely person ever, and someone is still going to come on and tell you that you are a seething, sweaty cesspool of a butthole. So you can never do right in everyone's eyes. So no, that's pretty good that you didn't get many negative comments. But even those I appreciated, exactly, because sometimes within those negative comments that you can get a bit of a different perspective and they can help you kind of bring together the picture that you're trying to get a grip on. Now, to the update. It's actually a happy update. Oh, good! In October of last year, my grandmother, who I mentioned, passed away. And I joked with friends how her passing restored peace to the land. Lol. Honestly, with some people, it do be like that. She was a pretty awful person, so it's okay if you laugh at that. During the aftermath of that, my mum and I became a team to take care of my grandpa, and it started to heal us. That is so good. And all that actually set the stage for our relationship to better. I ended up in treatment for ED in December of last year. My ED was rough, but because I'm fat, I was worried she wouldn't believe the struggles. My mother was the one person I was afraid wouldn't support me, and understandably so. But she was actually the biggest supporter I had. I was gone for 3 months in a city about an hour and a half away, staying in a condo near the place I did treatment. She called me every other day just to check in. She helped financially since I was out of work during that time. That is so good. She never once made me feel bad or that I was faking, which she had done in my teens, early 20s. When I came home, she continued that. She went to therapy for the first time on her own. We finally talked about everything. I brought up the movie and my reaction. She understood and apologised about her treatment of me. And beyond the words, she continues to make efforts. She still asks me how my food relationship is. She makes sure I'm taking care of myself, and she tells me she loves me and is proud of me a lot. Things have also changed in terms of her other kids, my siblings and my dad and stepmom, and it's something we all appreciate. She is trying. Yeah, she's clearly making a big effort, and that's so good. I'm so glad she is finally managed to get over what blockade, whatever it was in her mind, was stopping her from realizing that she was in the wrong, she needed to do more. And you know, you can't change the past. Actions of hers now need to be considered from now moving forward. She can't change the past, she can only apologize for it, but she can prove to you with her actions that she is making a big effort to change. While it's not perfect, I still will forever be closer to my stepmom, her wife, but I feel like I can talk to my mum about things I never could before. So honestly, my grandmother dying really restored peace to our family. I doubt anyone will see this update, but who knows? Yeah, clearly, I mean, it sounds awful to say that your grandmother dying has helped your mum, but clearly it has. Obviously, there was a lot of trauma associated with your grandmother on your mum's behalf, and it was making her into a worse person. And obviously now that your grandmother has passed on, your mum feels relieved in some sort of way, I would assume, by the way she's acting now. It's like a big negative weight has been lifted, which is an awful thing to say, but sometimes it's like that, isn't it? Okay, so I'll just read a comment from the comments. It's really nice to hear when people acknowledge their problems and then work on them. It brings hope to the world. Also a reminder that even the most unexpected of people can change in unexpected ways. OP, exactly. It truly wasn't something I thought would happen, but I'm glad it did. I have a huge blended family, and had I cut her off completely, had she not done change, I would have pretty much lost everyone. Usually these are quite long, these Best of Redditor Updates posts, but that one wasn't too long, so to make the video at least 20 minutes, I'm going to do another one. So this one was posted by Direct Caterpillar 77, so they compiled it. I think I accidentally cut off the user on the last one, so I couldn't see it. So yeah, apologies for that. But this one is me, 21F, with the family I nanny for. The son, 13M's behaviour is starting to creep me out, but I'm not sure if it is actually inappropriate or just a cultural difference. This should be interesting. I've always thought being a nanny must be like a really freaky job because you're in someone else's house, like a stranger's house essentially. I don't think I'd like that. Okay, so hey there, using a throwaway just in case. So I'm from the US and recently moved to Italy to nanny. I feel this is important because so far I have not been able to tell if I'm struggling with a cultural difference in Italy or if I actually have a reason to be weirded out. It is easy to tell that the son, Dario, is in middle school, as he's already several inches taller than me and his mum, and has maybe 30 pounds on me. When I first got here, some of the stuff that freaked me out a little I could handle, and I chalked it up to being an Italy thing. This includes stuff like talking almost exclusively in a baby voice when addressing his parents, calling his parents mummy and daddy, fighting physically with his little sister over who gets to sit on mum and dad's lap multiple times throughout the day, fighting with the sister over who gets to sleep with the parents, getting extremely upset when mum or dad leaves for the day, and whining about not getting enough kisses or time laying in bed, kissing with mum, and having his parents blow on chewed food in his mouth because it's too hot. In his mouth! Blowing in his mouth! I'm sorry, I've probably just made that sound really awful down the microphone, but in his mouth! Not like on the fork. Like, he can't blow on his own food. How old was this kid again? Let's just double check that. It doesn't say. It says middle school, though. So, like, over here, middle school, you'd be about, like, 10, between, like, 7 and 10, maybe. Ew! Why are you blowing in the kid's flaming mouth? Like, don't get me wrong, my youngest is 7, and likes to cuddle, is like constantly coming up like, "Mummy, can I have a cuddle?" But doesn't talk to me in a baby voice. Sometimes we'll put on a baby voice like when just trying to be silly, but not all the time, and not physically fighting with their sibling who gets my attention. Like, this is weird. Surely this is not a cultural thing. Surely this is just weird. Now, I really don't want to be critical of this if it's normal here, you know? I don't think that's normal anywhere. But in the US, I seriously can't imagine a single 7th grade boy engaging in any of these behaviours. So it's really new to me. And really, it hadn't affected me, so I just let it be. The problem is that now I'm starting to get involved and it's making me really uncomfortable. Yeah, it would make me really uncomfortable. Let's have a look just now and see what age a kid would be if they are 7th grade. Where's good old Google? What age is 7th grade USA? 12 to 13. 12 to 13. No. Stop it. That's disgusting. Blowing in their mouth as well. That's disgusting at any age, I think. But what? Wanting to go and kiss all over their mum in bed? Like, oh no, this is not normal. I'm sorry, but no. I'm going to have to go and give my eyes a bath after I've finished reading this, I think. For example, our rooms have adjacent windows which allow the kids to see my entire room at all times. What? To me, this is pretty inappropriate. What am I supposed to do when I need to change clothes? But I also don't want to seem like I'm sexualizing children or accusing them of anything, so I just politely asked for curtains and took to changing in the bathroom. Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that at all. I'd feel like a flaming animal in a zoo on show. That's not normal, surely. I'm questioning this whole family, not gonna lie. After weeks without curtains, the family finally promised me that someone was coming to put them up. Well, he only put them in the kids' room. What? Ever since then, I find Dario peeping through the curtains at me multiple times a day. Yeah, I'm sure he bloomin' is as well. Now, I'm sure he is just checking on me. I don't think he is. Or curious about what I'm up to, but it makes me so uncomfortable. I didn't want to tell the family though, because I'm afraid they would think I'm accusing their baby of like trying to spy on me changing. So I just took matters into my own hands and hung a blanket up over my window. This whole family is freaking weird. No, what the hell? Get out of there. This is like some premise for some kind of horror film, I swear. No amount of money or wanting a good reference on your CV is worth this. Believe me, just get out. Another issue has been when we stay at the kids' grandparents' house. There is a room for the parents with a bed for the one child and a room for me with a bed for one child. I figured we would split up, boys and girls, and I would stay with the daughter, but nighttime rolls around and Dario is crawling into bed next to mine. I was so uncomfortable. I could hardly sleep. I have talked to my friends at home about this and they all think it's really weird, because it is. Because we aren't related and he's a teenager now. Exactly, he is a teenager. He knows better. At 13, 12 to 13, kids are extraordinarily aware. They're not stupid. They know much better than this. This is creepy. But this is, of course, an American opinion, so I can't tell for sure if we're imposing our ideas on this family. Well, I'm going to give you a British opinion, and I think it's fucking weird as well. Again, if this really is a cultural thing, though, I don't know how to tell the family that where I am from, it's kind of inappropriate for a boy so old to be sleeping next to me. Especially when he's been spying on me lately, without causing issues. Yeah, no, this is so weird. I'm getting horror movie vibes, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, these behaviours affect other aspects of our life as well, as it's hard to get Dario to do anything because he usually claims it's too hard to do. Making a bed at 13? Too hard. Are you kidding? And I often find myself wanting to tell him to grow up. What I need help with is knowing whether he does need to grow up or if all of this behaviour is normal here, and am I the crazy American that needs to adjust? Is this behaviour normal for a 12-year-old or is it immature? I feel like the parents still really see him as a young child and usually he acts like it. But for the most part, it seems like he plays up the baby act because he knows it makes his parents cater to him more. If this is all abnormal, does anyone have any suggestions on how to bring this up to the family? Yeah, I have a suggestion. What you do is you write a letter saying, I quit and this is why. You're all weird. Your kid's odd. I'm getting creeped out. Please get him therapy or he's going to end up in the news when he's older. Thank you. Edit. Just want to clarify that at the grandparents' house, there are 2 beds and they are next to each other. Dario was not in my bed, but in the bed next to me. TLDR, I nanny for a boy, 13M, whose behaviour makes me uncomfortable. I'm not sure if he is actually being inappropriate or if there is a large cultural difference between my country and this country. I genuinely think that it's just a case of bad parenting, not teaching him boundaries. He does not know boundaries, and for his age, that is extraordinarily worrying. And I swear if I see anyone say, oh, well, he might be autistic or he might have ADHD, I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean that you just let behaviours like that slide. No matter what the situation is, you just don't. It's not an excuse for inappropriate behaviour. And the parents, whether there is a reason, like they're going to say, oh, he's autistic or whatever, even if they said that that was the reason, the parents are clearly encouraging it because they're going along with it. They're not correcting the behaviour and saying, oh, no, we don't do that. And they are also, for the smallest thing they could have done to help, not even helping by putting some flaming curtains up in her room. So yeah, I don't think it's anything to do with anything like that. I think it's just crappy parenting. Getting into some comments now. B186, we've established this kid's behaviour is weird, but what the F at the parents responding to your request for privacy curtains by giving them to the child? OP, I have no clue. They've been really weird about some stuff, like this. This is TMI, but the mum knew I was on my period because I had to ask where to buy tampons, and we get to the house and there's no trash can in the bathroom or in my room. I asked for one multiple times and she said she would get one and never did. And when I asked last, she said, well, the kids have a trash can in their room if you need it. Ooh, no, God, no. Don't be putting stuff like that in the kids' bedroom bins. I can imagine that little lad will just go rummaging through it because clearly, again, he has not been taught boundaries. Like, what the F? Are you not an adult woman? Do you not understand how this works? Exactly. And then I'm guessing these are some responses to frequently asked questions. Do the parents discipline the kids? I asked about discipline when I interviewed, and they said they don't really have to discipline the kids. Well, there we go. I should have taken it as a warning sign. Honestly, the mum is very strict about some stuff, so they're very good in certain areas that she deems important. Etiquette, cleanliness. I'm not sure we've seen any proof that they're good with etiquette. Because blowing in someone's mouth at the dinner table is not good etiquette. But when Dario picks on the daughter, they just let the kids yell and scream and cry until I step in. They also seem to encourage many of Dario's rude comments because technically he does word them politely. Oh, okay. So I could go down outside right now and be like, hello, good sir, you're an absolute bellend. Good day. And that's okay? Is it? Just to anyone outside that I come across, yeah? I don't think it works that way. For example, I will bust my ass making a meal for the whole family. To be kind and helpful, it's not in my job description. And Dario will eat 4 plates of it and then say, I'm sorry, but why would you cook this like that? And I'll say, that's how we cook it in the US. And he'll say, well, I don't like it. The Italian way is much better. And then put his plate on mine for me to take it to the kitchen and leave. No, thanks for cooking. No, but I did like this part. Just insult, clean my plate, bye. He loves to criticize. Oh, I don't like this family very much. Is the child autistic? Yeah, I had a feeling this question would come up because for some reason I've noticed on the internet now, people make excuses for bad behaviour in kids by saying, oh, well, are they neurodiverse? Neurodiverse doesn't mean you're going to grow up to be an absolute twat. Neurodiverse means that you're going to struggle with certain things, but you absolutely can learn them, but you are going to struggle. It doesn't mean that you are inherently rude, bad, or anything. And I think that labelling kids that are neurodiverse or labelling kids that do bad things or have bad behaviours as neurodiverse without knowing if they are or not speaks volumes to how the collective consciousness views autistic kids, and it is not good. Anyway, rant over. I thought about the autism initially, but I'm fairly certain it isn't that because when the parents are gone, the baby act completely turns off. And he acts like any other teenager, albeit manipulative and critical, I have ever known. And I have worked in childcare, in the classroom, and as a coach for years now. Hi all, I'm back. Wow, how long has it been? 3 to 4 months later with an update. Long story short, I quit. Oh, I'm so glad. I am so glad you quit. I thought we were going to see you on the news. Here's the long version for those interested. The curtain issue. Like I said in my last post, I had just hung a blanket for privacy, and since there have been no peeping issues, I asked 2 more times for curtains and was reassured both times that the curtains man would come to hang them in my room. He did come back and hung more curtains in the kids' room, but again, not in mine. What? So now they're just layering them up? It's almost like they're trying to make a point that no, you're not allowed curtains. You have to let my peeping Tom of a son look at you. Then I was told that they didn't like them and would be finding another curtain guy to hang my curtains. It's been 4 months, no more mention of it. I still use the blanket. The vacation issue. I have simply refused to go on vacation with them. I'm off on weekends and I've reached a point where I just refuse to be home for the entire weekend and manage not to see them from Friday night until Monday morning if I can help it. I go on weekend trips, crash on couches, sneak into my room when they're eating, things like that, just to avoid seeing anyone on my days off. The Dario issue? Dario still acts extremely immaturely. I've warmed up to him a lot, and I figured out how to cut his rudeness and such. He's become a lot more positive and kind, especially because his mum has been gone a lot and he's been with me every day. I'm very upbeat and have worked really hard to get him to socialise and speak kindly. Unfortunately, he seems to almost have regressed in terms of childish behaviour. He still sits on laps, kisses a lot and sleeps with a parent when the other is gone. The baby talk is constant. For example, he loves to repeat back butchered syllables of words, if that makes sense. Like his dad will say, Pasami unchit. I'm not going to try and say that. Pass me a spoon. And he will clap and exclaim, Ayo, or whatever that says, do you want water? And he'll go, quack, quack. Oh my God. I'm not even going to try. You can read it yourself. It's on the screen. I'm going to make an absolute fool of myself. He also had started eating kind of like a baby too. Like, he'll take the remaining tomato sauce that we used on the pasta and use the giant spoon to drink it out of the pot and get it all over his face and then suck on each of his fingers. Oh. But when I look at his parents, they're looking at him like when you see a cute baby trying to use a fork and getting food on his face. But he's 13, so it's honestly sickening to watch and listen to. Yeah, I bet. He won't lock the door when he goes to the bathroom or showers. Why? I started locking the door when I was like 7. And he even cried the other day when his sister sat on the foot of his bed. He doesn't like things touching his bed. And guess what? The parents got mad at the daughter, said it was her fault for baiting him. She just had to tie her shoe for a second and declared that it's her fault. Dario will be upset all night. He just sounds like a spoiled brat, doesn't he? He also hasn't made any progress with friends and has taken to playing League of Legends, so he won't leave his room or do any activities or lessons with me or his sister. It's pretty sad, honestly. Yeah, see, I think there's something going on with him that started off probably some of the issues, but he's never been corrected. So now he's just got worse and worse, and he does know better to a degree. I will guarantee you that. A lot of kids do, whether they're neurodiverse or not. They know better, but if they're not corrected, then they're going to keep just doing the things that they aren't corrected on, aren't they? The hardest part of this whole thing has been the mother. I won't even go into it here, but she's honestly clinically insane, and I feel so bad for all the people in the house that have to put up with her. She's just a power-hungry, jealous, bitter woman who needs to see a professional. Basically, I went home for Christmas to be with my family and realised how bad this experience was for my health. I was going out drinking almost every night to escape the house. I was sleeping horribly because I knew she was here, and her presence gave me an awful anxiety. I was getting yelled at every day, even when I did nothing wrong. I was at home in the States, and the thought of going back made me absolutely miserable. So when I came back, I told them I needed to go back early for medical reasons. Not totally untrue. And now I'm set to leave the last week of March. They've found a new girl. Look out for a post here sometime in the future. TLDR, Dario is still acting like a baby. The mum is still crazy. And I effing quit, homie. Get me out of here. Love that. On that insane, absolutely insane note, I think we're going to leave it there for today. That was just, I'm still struggling to get my head around that. Honest goodness, I think maybe there could be something going on with Dario, but I genuinely just think that it was bad parenting. Because the proof's in the pudding. If the mum's absolutely crackers, it says it all, doesn't it? But yeah, we're going to leave it there for today. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed hearing me losing my flaming marbles through that last story. And if you have made it to the end, then I thank you very, very much. Feel free to give me a like and subscribe because that does help me in the algorithms, and you can then find your way back here for more stories, can't you? Other than that, I'm going to get off and go and wash my eyeballs. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.